What if I told you that a single number has caused more panic, lost more money, and changed more architecture than most natural disasters?
Welcome back to Heinous History, where we dig up the past so you don't have to. I'm Matrix.
And I'm Al Gorithm. Today we're exploring humanity's bizarre relationship with the number 13, a perfectly innocent mathematical concept that somehow became public enemy number 1.
Oh, absolutely innocent. Just like how sharks are innocent of being terrifying murder fish. Al, care to explain why half the world breaks into a cold sweat when they see 2 digits arranged in a particular order?
The fear of the number 13, known as triskaidekaphobia, has roots spanning millennia. One of the earliest superstitions comes from Christian tradition, where at the Last Supper, Judas Iscariot was allegedly the 13th person to sit at the table, and we all know how that story ended.
With the most famous betrayal in history and mankind's longest-running guilt complex. But wait, there's more. The Norse apparently looked at this and thought, hold my mead, I can make 13 even more ominous.
Indeed. In Norse mythology, the god Loki became the 13th guest at a dinner party in Valhalla, except he wasn't actually invited. He crashed the party and promptly caused the death of Balder, the god of light and purity.
Because apparently even Norse gods couldn't handle proper security. Oh look, the god of chaos just crashed our party uninvited. Let's let him stay. What could possibly go wrong? Nothing like doubling down on a superstition across different mythologies. But here's where it gets really ridiculous, Al. This superstition became so ingrained that entire industries started bending over backwards to avoid offending a number.
Correct. The practice of omitting the 13th floor in buildings became widespread in the early 20th century. The Otis Elevator Company was reported to have said in 1914 that as many as 85% of buildings with elevators skip the 13th floor entirely.
Because nothing says rational modern society like collective mathematical denial. Sorry, gravity, we're jumping straight from 12 to 14 today. I'm sure the 14th floor residents love knowing they're actually living on the 13th floor in disguise.
The aviation industry has been particularly affected. Many airlines skip row 13 entirely, and some airports don't have gate 13. Lufthansa, Air France, and Continental Airlines all avoid using flight number 13.
Meanwhile, statisticians are probably weeping into their calculators. But the probability remains exactly the same. And they cry, as another hotel proudly announces their building goes from floor 12 to floor 14.
Speaking of statistics, several notable disasters have occurred on Friday, the 13th, reinforcing the superstition. The Knights Templar were arrested on Friday, the 13th of October, 1307, by order of King Philip IV of France.
Ah, yes, because clearly the date was the problem, not the king who was drowning in debt to the Templars and needed a convenient excuse to seize their assets. It's not about the money, guys, it's just really bad luck.
The superstition has measurable economic impact. The Stress Management Center and Phobia Institute estimates that $800 to $900 million is lost in business revenue every Friday the 13th because people avoid travel, dining out, and major purchases.
Nearly $1 billion lost because of a number. I'm starting to think the real superstition should be about human intelligence. But wait, there's more. Al, tell them about the Apollo 13 mission.
Apollo 13 launched on the 11th of April, 1970, at 1313 military time. The mission suffered a critical oxygen tank explosion on the 13th of April.
And suddenly everyone was like, see? We told you 13 was bad luck. Completely ignoring the fact that the crew's survival was due to brilliant engineering, not cosmic numerology. But hey, why credit human ingenuity when you can blame arithmetic?
Interestingly, some cultures consider 13 lucky. In Italy, 13 is considered fortunate, while 17 is the unlucky number. The ancient Egyptians believed 13 represented the eternal afterlife.
Leave it to humans to make superstitions geographically specific. Your fear is invalid because you're in the wrong country. Although I do appreciate Italy's commitment to being contrarian about everything, including superstitions.
The number 13 also appears frequently in nature and mathematics. There are 13 lunar cycles in a year. Many flowers have 13 petals, and 13 is a prime number, making it mathematically significant.
So let me get this straight. We're terrified of a number that appears constantly in nature, represents lunar cycles that have guided humanity for millennia, and is mathematically prime. We're literally afraid of math doing its job.
The superstition has created an entire industry around avoidance. Hotels, hospitals, and office buildings routinely skip the 13th floor. Some streets don't have house number 13, and many people refuse to host dinner parties with 13 guests.
Because apparently the solution to an irrational fear is more irrationality. I know! Let's just pretend the number doesn't exist. That'll fool the universe. I'm impressed by humanity's ability to make buildings complicit in their delusions.
Despite its fearsome reputation, some people actively embrace 13 as lucky. The number appears in various positive contexts throughout history, from the 13 original American colonies to the 13 principles of faith in Judaism.
Well, there's something refreshingly defiant about that. You know what? I'm going to live on the 13th floor, fly on Flight 13, and host dinner parties for exactly 13 people. Take that, mathematical anxiety.
The persistence of triskaidekaphobia demonstrates humanity's tendency to find patterns and assign meaning to random events, even when no causal relationship exists.
Or, as I like to call it, people being people. We're the species that invented conspiracy theories about numbers, folks. Numbers. The most neutral, objective things in existence.
And that concludes our exploration of the number 13, a digit that has caused more architectural confusion and flight delays than any mathematical concept deserves.
Join us next time on Heinous History, where we'll probably find another perfectly innocent thing that humans have inexplicably decided to fear. Until then, remember, the only thing scarier than the number 13 is the fact that we're afraid of it in the first place.
This has been Heinous History. I'm Algorithm.
And I'm Matrix, reminding you that history is stranger than fiction and human behavior is stranger than both.